finally live. Let's see if you can see me. I don't think I'm on LinkedIn, but I think I'm on Facebook page and YouTube, mainly YouTube. So if you see me, let me know. Do you see me? Hello, hello. Please type in the chat if you can see me, if you can hear me. Today we'll talk about purple teaming. We'll talk about so many different topics. We'll talk also about the Maltrax Monsters program, which lots of you guys have been asking about it. So Muhammad Aziz saying yes, Amr. Omar saying yes, very good. Hello, everything okay for me? That's perfect. Please invite all of your friends. And I see people are also available on LinkedIn. So perfect. We are also live on LinkedIn. And if you are on YouTube, subscribe to the channel will be great. And yeah, let's get started. So today we'll be talking about um, purple teaming and threat hunting. Before we get started, I will just give some time for people to join and being here. And I want to know you guys, where are you working? What are you like? What's your position currently? What you are doing? And why you are interested in purple teaming? And where did you hear about it first time? If you can type in the chat, how did you get? What's your position? Why you want to learn purple teaming and what you're looking for from this life would be great. A bit of a drink for the life. I have like water, I have Coca Cola. I know that I always get thirsty in going live, so I added all the drinks. Um, so, today in general, we will be talking about purple teaming and threat hunting. There is lots of people. Um, so, when we talk about purple teaming versus threat hunting, lots of people don't put these two words together. Threat hunting is a completely different thing than purple teaming. But actually, in truth, that they are both very close to each other. They have lots of things in common. Both of them are based on the attacker technique, based on specific attack technique or specific attack pattern, and they both build on a hypothesis. So threat hunting built a hypothesis that this attack has happened in your organization. The attacker has actually compromised one of your machines, one of your assets, using this specific technique, which is probably he used spear phishing, or he used RDB tunneling or any type of tunneling, and he did something. And your goal as a threat hunter is to search through the logs, trying to verify that this had happened or not. So you try to test your hypothesis. And based on that, you look if you have any gaps, if you have any problem in your if you have any logs that you are missing, you don't have visibility over what's happening on the machine, or a visibility on this area in the network, or visibility of this type of traffic, or you discover that you are actually compromised, and then you learn, and then you start the incident response, or you discover that there's no attack, but you don't have a real detection for this type of attacks, and then you create a new detection rule. And it is quite similar to what purple teaming is doing. So purple teaming, it does not assume that this attack technique, specifically like RDB tunneling or SSH tunneling, for example, or phishing or whatever it is, they don't. Purple teaming doesn't assume that this attack happened in your organization, but they assume that you don't know how to detect it, or you don't have enough logs. You have a little bit of a gap in detecting this attack, and therefore you will simulate this attack on a controlled environment, probably some cloud machines that looks like your company, and then you will perform the attack on these machines using whatever the tools you will use to perform the red teaming activity, or a pen tester or red teamer who will do the attack. And then you will start to see what are the logs you are missing, what information you are missing, and if you have this information, do you have detection rules for these type of attacks or not? Are you able to detect them if they happened in your original environment or not? And all of these questions. So both are threat hunting and purple teaming. Both are about red teaming attack technique. Both about hypothesis. Both try to look for any gaps in your visibility, in your logs, in your detection rules, in your team process, and all of that in detecting this specific attack technique. The only thing is that threat hunting also checks if your systems are compromised with this, and most of the threat hunting is done by a completely blue team, so they might not know exactly how the attack actually happens. While in the purple teaming, they actually create this attack with a red teamer. There is a red teamer who simulate the attack, and then there is a blue teamer, probably the different team or the same person or the same team, who checks the logs and see if he can detect this attack or not. So you have in the purple team, you have both the attacker and the defender, while in threat hunting, you only look from the defender perspective um, in your original logs or your original environment. And that's basically where the difference between purple teaming and threat hunting. Um, So I see your answers. Um, 0x41 byte is saying that I don't have job at the meanwhile. I'm a student. I'm looking forward to learn more. Red, purple teaming, and I like your live videos. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, by the way. Um, Hi, can I ask you about something? Sure, go ahead. Um, do you guys see me well on YouTube? Is there is any network issue? Hello back. I'm Geyser. Nice to meet you. Um, so that's basically purple teaming versus threat hunting. And I did see that there is no any training from what I heard of so far that puts purple teaming and threat hunting together in the same bucket. There is always either people teaching purple teaming or people teaching threat hunting. Um, and I wanted to put these two together because they really have the same content, the same thing you need to learn for both. Um, I'm introducing a new training that will come in October. Actually, it's called In-Depth Threat Hunting and Purple Teaming. So we will be teaching both the attacker point of view, how the attacker is performing the attack, and we will also learn how we can detect these attacks through sysmon logs, through different types of logs, and how we can even check if we have enough visibility over our logs, if our configurations are right for sysmon, if we are really capturing everything, if we are really seeing the traffic right, and all of this stuff. And we will be able to write detection rules using Sigma, using Elasticsearch, using Splunk, different types of programs here in the blue team, and as we will learn how to perform the attack, one with Caldera, which is a known CNC command control server and has its own malware, and we'll be using that, or Atomic Red Team, which simulates specific attack. And we will have this, it's not in-depth red teaming, but it's more focused on threat hunting, threat investigation, and purple teaming in general. As well, we started actually this year we have finally made our first sorry, I got off we finally announced our very first open source program with Maltrax name, and this is called Purple Teaming Cloud Lab. And let me try to show you the actual program. So this is basically the Purple Team Cloud Lab. I have built that from ground up, and this is basically a lab um, that looks exactly like that. You have this is a cloud lab that you can build inside AWS, inside the Amazon Web Services, and it contains multiple machines, simulate a real environment for purple teaming. So you have here one one network, one subnet that has a domain controller and has a kind of a simple company which is called edlab.local. It's a very simple company, consists of only two machines, the domain controller and DNS server, and you have another workstation for an employee inside the company. The company has different employees. They have three employees basically, and there's one who's a domain admin, and there is other two and one who have access to this workstation. It's kind of a very very simple company, but it's good to see like how these attacks look like. They are both Windows Server 2019 and fully patched, and as well that they have different tools for red teaming, for blue team. They have sysmon installed, and any logs that happens on these machines are being sent here to Helic or to the to threat hunting ELK, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana, and this Helic basically allows you to collect all the logs that's happening here and monitor for what's happening on these systems. Probably also have like alerts. You can you have you have Sigma installed, so you can create your own detection rules. You can monitor what's happening on these machines. You can create your own rules. You can detect attacks, and you can perform even a more in-depth investigation, like using like collecting forensics artifact, collect memory forensics, analyze this memory image inside this machine because it has volatility. It has so many different tools to do all different types of blue teaming, actually, from log analysis to memory forensics to digital forensics to everything you need um, on these two machines. You also have here a red team machine, which basically has a kind of command control server, and it has different malware. This command control server is called Caldera. It's open source, and you can use the malware there to infect these machines and move laterally from one machine to another, simulate different attacks, and basically monitor all of that in the blue team subnet and create new detection rules. So it's basically a very simple purple teaming um, purple teaming lab that you can test different attacks and test how you can detect them. Any questions so far? Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. So with purple teaming, you really have the red team part and the blue team part. But in different organizations, purple team look different from one organization to another. So there are some cases where you see it's the blue team meets the red team into one meeting and then they share the knowledge, and this is what's called the purple team kind of meeting. So there is red team people, there is blue team people separately. There is cases where it's you are already a blue teamer and you learn a little bit how to simulate attacks or using tools to simulate attacks, and you become a purple teamer. So you learn, let's say you learn how red teaming looks like, yeah, and then you are using tools like atomic red team. Atomic red team is a very very known tool to sorry very very known tool to simulate different attacks. I think I have the name of it here. um, anyway, so um, we have the atomic red team installed, and atomic red team has like 700 different ways to simulate an attack, and they have 700 attack techniques they're able to simulate by themselves, and then you can look at the logs. So you can rely only on the tools that's already there to simulate an attack. So it's a very very simple exercise. Or you can rely on Caldera, and Caldera basically is a known CNC that can simulate so many of attacks. So there are some purple teamers who are mainly blue teamers, but they know a little bit about red teaming. And there are some who are even more advanced, or their team is really dynamic. They have They have people who are coming from SOC. They have people who are coming from pen testing, and they have joined the blue team, and they are part of the incident response or part of the purple team. They have a mix of skills. Um, so so Abdullah is saying, or Abdullah is saying that, I hope I'm pronounced your name correctly. Thank you for your introduction. I have been doing Purple Team. Do you offer more deeper introduction? Inshallah. So, yes, I'm just getting into it, but we are actually having coming very soon, actually. Let me try to see if I can share anything about that. Um, so, we are having very, very soon, actually. Um, we will be having a training, a live training in October. It's called In-Depth Threat Hunting and Purple Teaming. We'll go way more in depth into purple teaming and threat hunting. Today, I will cover just some intro for people who wants to know about it, and I will also um, let me try to find 1 second. So we will be having a live training where we will be talking just about purple teaming and threat hunting. We'll go way more in depth into that. Um, Let me show you exactly what I meant. So we will be having a new training which is called in-depth threat hunting and purple teaming, and we will be covering both the attacker point of view and the defense point of view. You will see along the whole training, we are covering here like ABT attacks, and then we are talking about Purple Team Cloud, and then we'll be covering, the defense side, incident response, threat hunting, log analysis, and so on. Then we'll talk about CNC attacks and exfiltration, and we'll talk about packet analysis. Then we will be talking um, about malware defense evasion, how they maintain persistence, how they split privileges, how they move laterally, and we'll talk also about the defense side, where how we can perform digital forensics, memory forensics, and how we can use PowerShell to automate lots of things, and so on. So we'll be covering both actually in one training, and that will be called the in-depth threat hunting and purple teaming, and that will be in October 24 to 27. I will be opening the enrollment very, very soon to that training, and that's one of the upcoming trainings. So that's basically a little introduction about purple teaming and threat hunting, and as well. Are you guys with me? I'm not sure if you can hear me correctly. Do you guys hear me correctly? Do you guys hear me correctly? LinkedIn, on YouTube. Think the sound has gone or something. I think everything is going well. Yeah, we can Hear you very good. So that's basically it. And when you are performing purple teaming in your own organization, you don't need to just rely. We have a lab that we built to simulate the attacks. But when you try to really do a purple team in your own organization, not just for learning, you need to be able to you need to simulate your environment as exactly as your environment as possible. You need to create your own controlled environment wherever in AWS or Azure or anywhere. But this environment needs to be as similar as possible to your original environment, whatever the tools you have, the different detection products you have. If you're using specific SIM, keep using that one. Use the agents up here. If you're using Carbon Black as an ADR, install Carbon Black agents there. Make everything looks like they are part of your original network, and then simulate attacks against them and see if your product's actually able to detect them, if you have gaps or not, if you really see everything or not. What if we perform a specific lateral movement that relies only on memory attacks, or relies only on PowerShell, and we're able to bypass the AMSI or the PowerShell logging? What's gonna happen? And we escalated privilege, we invoked Mimikatz, or we used whatever the way we did. We only loaded, let's say, we loaded the malware only in the memory using uh, like um, like process hollowing or process injection. Do your tools really detect process injection, or detect different types of process injection, or not? That's a very good question. Most of the tools rely on detecting open process and create remote thread, but there are so many different APIs that acts like create remote thread, but as they are even better. So so all of this different so all of these different things that you need to look at. Um, so I see that Muhammad Abu Aini, he was writing text. He's saying that I have 12 years old uh, in penetration testing, and I don't have any certificate. Neither me. Now I started having, but most of my life I didn't look for certificates. I didn't need to, and that's the good thing. So um, so Muhammad Abranin, he's asking that he has been in hacking for 12 years. He was self-studying. Now he's looking for certification, or um, looking for scientific study, basically, and he's not sure if he wants to continue. If something has pushed you to learn for 12 years, probably is something you really love, or if it's not, if you like, what is the reason? Um, so what's my advice to move forward? Well, my advice is that, well, first is where you are now. Are you still only studying, or you have worked in that field? What exactly you're studying? Lots of people who study British and testing, and I don't know if that's you. Please type in the chat where you are at. Are you working in a job or not? What's exactly your obstacle to move forward? Like what's exactly you're looking for, and where you are now, so I can able to advise you. Uh, while you are typing, I will give you my the general advice to all of you. Penetration testing as a field, lots of people are going about penetration testing a bit wrong. They go for the type of infrastructure attacks like OSCP, CH, Metasploit, Nmap, finding vulnerabilities, exploit DB, and use different exploitations. And they go and focus so much on exploitation, while real attacks that happen on the real world are really rely on exploitation or infrastructure weaknesses, as more as they rely on malware attacks, social engineering, and Active Directory attacks. And these are the things that you need to learn the most. Um, First is learning how malware actually work, how to create your own tools, how to create your own malware, how you can create your own PowerShell script, or even a small script in JavaScript, or different languages that you're able to use them, and they are not detected before, they are not known for any antivirus, and you can use them to perform an attack, or at least understand how this type of attacks work, how you can use social engineering as part of your attack, because this is what most of the attackers do. They send spear phishing emails, they get people to click on a link, open a zip file, execute a PowerShell script, and from there they get into their machine, and then they are using Active Directory weaknesses to move laterally inside the organization. So it's malware, it's Active Directory. This is one of the these are the top two things. The third thing is web attacks, and web attacks mainly in the context of cloud attacks. So you need to understand, if you are studying web attacks, then you need to study web attacks from cloud attacks perspective, like how to abuse S3 buckets, how to abuse a website that rely on an S3 bucket that's not existent anymore, or how to use a weakness or a vulnerability inside a website to steal um, the access key or the secret key or the AWS credentials to move laterally inside the organization, and how to do that in Azure as well, and how you can abuse Azure ED or abuse AWS to move laterally inside the system, inside the website and all the services around them, and you're able to compromise their different services, their Lambda, their users, their virtual machines, their S3 buckets, and so on. So this is basically, if you are going to learn web attacks, then learn them in the cloud perspective. And these three, the malware, the AD, the Active Directory, and the cloud, whether Azure AD or AWS security, with web attacks, all of these three, four things together will make you the best, one of the best candidates in red teaming in general. Like this will get you on top, not the infrastructure attacks anymore. Not that they are not used anymore, but they are less used. There's so many candidates who know how to use Kali Linux or use Metasploit. They become dime a dozen. Like there are tons of them in the market. There are tons of candidates, and with the low salary, they can work for any organization. And what they can do, they can use Kali Linux, they can use Metasploit, but the better people who understand how these tools work, who understand this shell code, how it works, and they are able to understand the attacks that's happening right now in the market, whatever that's basically, which is like a ransomware attack or the most known attacks that happen right now, right? How these attacks actually happen, how these companies are moving laterally inside the organization. There is a website called the DFIR report. The DFIR report is basically a website that they have like a kind of like this purple team cloud, but without the red team part. They have like a simple small company, Honeybot. Basically, it's like multiple computers up here. I think around five or six, and then um, they have Sysmon logs and everything is running there, and they have another machine that you will use to collect all the information from this company, and then they bring an attacker into this network. They, let's say, they download his malicious document, they run his malicious document and make him try to attack all the machines inside this fake company they have created. And then they have a tool that collects memory dumps from all of these machines. Use Cape, which is a kind of artifacts collector and processing tool. It collects lots of forensics artifacts from these machines, including the logs. And then after all of that, they take all of this information and they analyze it, and then they write an article about it. You will see that all of these attacks, none of them, or almost most of them, didn't use a known vulnerability. They mostly relied on Active Directory attacks and new malware and dropping different types of malware along the time. Make sense? So this is the type of attacks that you really need to understand if you want to get good in really red teaming and as well purple teaming. And back to purple teaming world, that's what you're gonna need to protect against. That's what you're gonna need to simulate when you are when you have this purple team cloud lab. You want to simulate these type of attacks and learn how to protect against them. Another question is that red teams become more powerful because they have paid tools in the field. Paid tools like Cobalt Strike, they are very good tool. Don't say no, really great tool. You have Bloodhound Enterprise, for example, which is even a greater tools coming in the market soon. There's so many different tools, but the tools are nothing without somebody who understands how he can do the attack himself. The tools are just simple tools, right? Cobalt Strike, you can do everything with Cobalt Strike by your own malware. You can develop your own tool, and it will work even way better than Cobalt Strike that you pay tons of money for and other stuff. And we actually provide a complete training about just about that, about writing your own tool. So you don't need to pay lots of money to learn how to develop your own tool. All what you're gonna need to is to um, sorry. We have here advanced red teaming training. I will talk about this document in a minute, but we have a complete training on how you can develop your own tool. And once you learn that, you will understand this. It's not really about the paid tools anymore. Like Cobalt Strike is very good tool, is an amazing red teaming tool, but you can have as many of these features in your own malware and even better through this something you have developed by your own, and it will bypass security way better than Cobalt Strike. You, Cobalt Strike, for example, has like 50 more than 50% of attacks use Cobalt Strike, like real criminal attacks. So it's like this Cobalt Strike tool is heavily fingerprinted by EDRs, by different technology, by antivirus, by firewall, by Zik, even seeing their activities. They are like become very known tool for attackers that it's hard to not be detected. Still not being detected by some people, but not like it's easier to write your own tool than using Cobalt Strike. So at the end of the day, even with all of this, even if you're using your own, even if you're using known tools, it's still about your skills than the tools. This is the most important thing. And in general, your career is about the about what concepts you understand, what knowledge do you have, than the tools you're able to use or you're using in the field. The tools don't really matter. What matters is your knowledge and what you can do, and do you understand how these tools actually work or not. um, Meher Ismail, he's saying that how we can analyze different malware with Oli Debugger and analyze the program. Today, I'm not talking much about malware analysis. Actually, we are having a malware analysis training coming on 13th of December, um, 13th of June. Sorry, it's coming in actually in 2 weeks' time, and let me share that actually, which will cover more about malware analysis and incident response. And what I want to say about that, I cannot give you a short answer to how you can use Oli Debugger to analyze malware. You need to learn first assembly language, understand how it works, then learn how any application communicates with the operating system, which is mostly done through what's called Windows APIs. Once you understand Windows APIs and assembly, the tool is just a process. You have two different types of analysis. You have a static code analysis, which will use either pro. You will not run the program, but you will look at the code and try to understand what it does. Or you can run the tool with Oli Debugger and you can stop the malware at any time and look at the memory changes, look at the different variables and what their values are, and look at any data that has been decrypted in the memory or any messages that's been received to the attacker in the memory. You have full control over the memory, even the code itself, and you can see if the code decrypts itself, you can see what's the newly decrypted code. And with that, you can understand the malware, you can see it how it runs, and you still need to learn assembly and APIs and understand memory to be able to analyze this malware and understand what it does. So you really need to learn malware analysis as a skill, malware analysis as a science, and reverse engineering as a skill. And with these two, whatever you're using, only Debugger or IDAPRO or any other tool, you're still gonna understand what it does. But you really need to learn the knowledge. You really need to learn the skills. Um, I don't know if it's you, Maher, or somebody else. I need to check actually. But there has been someone who's messaging me just about that. Um, yeah, it's you, Maher, right? So as I told you, Maher has been messaging me about how to analyze malware using Oli Debugger, and the answer is you really need to learn assembly. Like I cannot describe it in just one life. You really need to learn assembly. You need to learn reverse engineering, and then you need to learn how to how you need to learn malware analysis in general, how malware behaves. Malware might, let's say, try to maintain persistence. There is a way that the malware can maintain persistence by modifying, let's say, registry key. One of the ways is that they modify a specific registry key. It ends with current version slash run, and they add a specific value with their path. And that allows them that every time the computer restarts, they are able to run from there. There is one thing: how they do the malware communicate with the CNC or not? Does the malware communicate with any website? What's that website or any IP? What's the port it communicates to? What it exactly sends and what it exactly receives? And that can give you more information. If unknown tool or unknown file communicating with completely unknown domain with .ru or I don't know top or unknown domain, unknown website, that is something to be flagged as something very, very suspicious. Um, the malware might try to encrypt files, so it will try to search for files with Windows API, like find first file and then find next file, and trying to search for specific files, and then open them, and then read their content, encrypt their content, and then write their content, the new content back again, the encrypted version. Some will try to inject inside processes, so they will use process 32 first, process 32 next, which is a known Windows APIs or Windows functions, Windows commands, to get the list of the running applications and get you each application one by one, and you choose the one that you want, and then you can inject some code into them. So all of these knowledge, you really need to understand malware analysis and reverse engineering, both these two skills. And luckily we have a training. It's 4 days training, and I know that you are in hurry, Maher. That's why I'm recommending that to you. We have a recorded version of that training, but this training is a 4 days training, so it can get you very fast ready for anything you are doing. Um, and with that training, we will cover how malware analysis work. We'll cover all the different types of analysis, including the basic static analysis, which is through the strings, through lots of little information without actually touching the assembly. And this will really be very helpful to give you some information about what this file might be doing. We'll be also covering behavior analysis, which is running the malware and looking what it does. Still, we are not touching the assembly, but we are now getting to know more stuff about the malware and seeing what it does on the system. Um, and then we are looking into the some different types of code. First, through the malicious documents, which has VB script code, and then we're looking into assembly, and then we are going deeper into the assembly part. Um, so, for the statistics, there is a website called any.rom/malware dash trends, I think. Let me try that. So any.ron slash malware dash trends. I posted up here on YouTube chat. You should see it. So that also explains to you like different trends about malware. So um, back and also I posted it on Facebook too. So Sebastian is saying that it's also important to understand the limitation of your tool. So Sebastian is talking about back. We'll go back into the purple teaming conversation, red teaming, and we had a question that was saying red team becomes more powerful because of the paid tools in the field. And Sebastian is saying that it's also important to understand the limitation of your tool. Bloodhound will pick up ED misconfigurations, but it's limited. ED groups memberships and associated permissions can be very complex when they become nested. That's true. And I have been using Bloodhound firsthand, and I noticed that there's so many things Bloodhound cannot pick, and you really need to learn how to use, learn actually the knowledge behind all of these different types of attacks, so you can know what each tool limits and what you're gonna do with each one of these tools, and actually um, improve on these tools or create your own scripts, create your own tools if you need to. Um, Ashwani is saying, I really appreciate your work. Thank you very much. Um, so, also, there is something I want to introduce to you guys before I finish today, which is the Maltrax Cybersecurity program. So, I decided back in January to bundle up everything I have been teaching from malware analysis, which is most people like. Um, Red teaming, which is a training that started last year and has been massively successful, and added to that threat hunting and purple teaming. Bundle all of these recorded trainings, live trainings, and as well my mentorship through a program called the Maltrax Cybersecurity Masters Program. And this bundle not only including my work as a person, but also including third-party trainings, third-party labs from Pentester Academy that I feel they are useful to practice on, and different other labs from other third parties that gives you a full holistic program that helps you learn blue teaming and a little bit of red teaming actually, and as well purple teaming. So you're learning the three: the blue teaming, the red teaming, and purple teaming, and you're really learn the industry skills. You're getting a direct mentorship every single week from me. We have dedicated chat. We have a Zoom call every single week together, a group chat, which is a group Zoom call, which is like 10 people maximum, sometimes 5 people who are joining, and you're able to ask questions, share the screen, and they will be guiding you. You'll be building. Lots of people are focusing on certificates in the market, and through all my life, I didn't need to get a certificate. Now I'm getting certificates because I enjoy the process of the exam sometimes, but it's not about that I really need a certificate in anything. And I have been working in so many top companies. I have worked in Semantic, I worked in Tenable, and other companies as well. And through all of this, I never needed a certificate. But I always had something that proves my skills. I had my own blog. I had my Stuxnet malware analysis report, which became very known. I had tools that I have developed, like Book Simulator. If you have heard about it, you can search it online, and other tools as well. And they all helped me to get into where I am. I had my own website. I had my own blog, um, and through all of this, I was able to get my first job, my second, and my third. All of them was just through this blog and my articles. And they will help you build your own blog and your own projects, your own scripts, your own image online, so you can easily get a job when you apply to different companies. We have started that, as I told you, I decided to do that in January. We started officially in February, and from February to now, we have lots of amazing results. We have people who are already in the process of getting a new job. There are people who are in interviewing process, people who are really amazed with their work. One of the students, he got really far in his interview. He's actually like he is signing the contracts now and moving forward. And what really helped him is that he had in his resume a project that he was developing his own malware writing skills, through our Maltrack program. We have another person who's really getting like he was talking with a company, and they were really impressed by his resume. And the reason was our Maltrack study and different things he has done through learning with us in Maltrack, especially the red teaming part. And we are providing this training. Basically, it will be um, um, we are dividing it into 5 phases. There will be the IT administration and cybersecurity fundamentals. So, regardless of what skills you have already, you already have when you are coming to this program, we have a flexible phase where we cover all the missing pieces you have. So, if you don't have administration, we will get you the administration skills. If you don't have the networking skills, we'll get you the networking skills. If you don't have the cybersecurity fundamentals, we'll cover you that. If you have all of these things, we will focus on the cloud and get you to have an intro about the cloud and understand how the cloud works, understand the DevOps around the cloud. So we will be covering here in this phase all the different pieces you might have missed. That's through our own trainings and through different third-party trainings as well. And we will mentor you through the process. We'll also be covering programming, which is mostly C++ or PowerShell, on Python as well, and we'll get you for all of that. Meher is asking what the price of the 4-day course. I will talk about it after we talk about the full program up here. So that's phase one. And phase two, you have the hands-on malware analysis and response training. So actually, if you are purchasing only one live training like this one or any of the other one, it's $1,600 each one of them. And the full master's program, I will talk about the price just when I finish the intro. So the hands-on, we will start after you learn in the first phase all of the basics of anything you're missing in your basics. We'll move to the next step where we will cover the hands-on malware analysis and incident response. You will learn incident response, malware analysis, and as well a little bit in memory forensics, just a little bit, and learn about malicious documents with macros, how they look like, analyze different tools, analyze different malware, and that will give you a really good intro to how operating system works, to how systems in general works, how the real attacks work from the inside. People think that malware should be the last thing you learn, but in my case, it was the first thing that I learned, and that was the best thing that haven't happened to me because everything else became very easy once I learned malware analysis. I understand operating systems, I understand how systems work, and then I was able to understand everything else. And build, building on that, after you finish that training, you will be able to you will have the recording with that of that training, and you will have a lifetime access also to the pre-recorded training we have, which is called the malware incident response training. You will have the full that's like a 40 hours training. You will have full access to it as well, lifetime access. You can continue learning malware analysis as much as you want after that, and you will have 2 months after this training. So this training is on 13th to 16th of June, and you have 2 months until August 22 to 25th, which will talk about the other side. Um, so Maltrax Cybersecurity Masters, sure, let me post the link. And by the way, this link includes as well this file. Let me share it. Let me share it on LinkedIn if I can. Or I will share it on the screen actually. Yep, here you go. So if you are coming from LinkedIn, it's here, maltrack.com/masters. Um, so after the malware course, after the malware live training, you'll have the recording after. I will be mentoring you, giving you different samples for you to analyze. And as well, you have access to a lifetime access to a training that covers malware analysis from A to Z. You can continue that even in your next job. You can continue learning with that. And then after that, you learn the malware analysis. Now let's flip the coin and look at it from the attacker side. Let's learn how we can actually write our own malware and how we can simulate a real attack. And most of the teaming trainings doesn't cover how you can write your own tools, your own scripts, how you can bypass defenses. And this is something that we decide that this is the thing that you really need to learn, because once you learn how to develop your own tools, like this is beyond any other person, any other candidate in the market. There are companies who hire other companies to help their red team develop their own tool or develop a red teaming tool for them. And that's I have heard from the market. There's a company who have a red team, and this red team hired another company to develop their own red teaming malware. Like they really paid another company to develop their own red teaming malware. And here you learn how to write your own tools. And that's if you are already if you are not working in red teaming or you want to apply for a job in red teaming, this will give you like a really strong a strong plus in your resume in moving forward. And that's what actually helped one of my students work in AWS. As I told you, he's finishing the contract with them currently. Um, can you provide me with other comments about other sites about malware statistics? I don't have any idea about other statistics. I only know that one. So I really don't have any other websites. So continuing in this training, we will cover we have a red teaming cloud lab similar to the purple team, but it's mainly for red teaming. It has Caldera, of course. It has phishing, different phishing virtual machines that simulate a phishing attack. We have different, it's a very complex cloud infrastructure. You will have access to it, you will have the code, so you can actually deploy it in your own AWS. And when you are doing an attack or doing a red team engagement, you can use it to basically hide your tracks and perform a red teaming attack. And then you will develop your own malware. You'll learn how to do phishing, how to do social engineering, how to bypass two-factor authentication, how to send a malicious document with macro, how to write your own malicious document with macro, and then how to write your own malware. And last, you will get the basics of Active Directory attacks and the lateral movement in general, and how to use different tools like Mimikatz, like Rubius, like different things. And as well, we are planning to also cover things about Azure AD. So a little bit about the cloud as well will be included in that training. And after that, you will be practicing on different labs from our third party as well to practice more and more and learn and harness this red teaming skills, your malware development, your malware analysis. Now you understand how real attacks work so well now. And after that, you will get into more onto the purple teaming, which you will understand more deeper the blue teaming, the threat hunting and log analysis and bcap analysis and all of this stuff. And as well, you will learn how you use your attack simulation techniques to basically perform an attack and detect it and do all the purple teaming part. So you learn malware analysis and incident response, then you learn red teaming, and then you learn purple teaming and threat hunting and all the advanced skills. And that's phase 4. That will be in October. And after that, um, and that's basically it. It's these 4 phases. There's one important phase at the end that through the whole process, and after that, the whole program is 9 months. And through the whole program, I will be helping you working in your resume, on your in showcase your work, writing your own blog, having different projects, and I will mentor you for writing your own projects. I'll be helping you out or be guiding you if you are stuck anywhere, so you can always build a really great image for yourself and for your skills. So um, that's basically the whole program. Um, So, any questions so far? So, people ask, so what's the price? Well, I got that question a little bit earlier. So the price is basically, we decided that for this program, for this second batch, we'll make it even, we will go a little bit less on the price. We'll make it only $6,000 instead of 8,000, like the people who paid for the first batch. This will be $6,000, still 9 months, and you don't need to pay all at once. You can pay them either either monthly payment or for 6 months, or you can pay it on 6 months, or you can pay it all at once with $6,000. If you pay it all at once, I think it's 1,097, something like that. And if you per month for 6 months, if you pay it all at once, it's just $6,000, and you can have the full program. And what you are getting is that you are getting the mentorship, which is a weekly mentorship, is really, really more in-depth mentorship directly from me, and that's really, really helpful because you will be facing so many obstacles, and that's something I know because I have been in that phase of self-learning, and I really faced so many obstacles. I really had so many problems, and I wish I had a mentor. And that's why I always provide mentoring, and this is more in-depth mentoring. You have access to all our library of trainings. You have access to third-party trainings, multiple third-party. I think we have three of them in this program, that you will have labs from here and trainings from there and content from there, so you can practice more and more, and they will be finding what works better for you, and I'll provide you with that. And last, you will also have access to our three live trainings. Each one is 1,600 by its own. Our trainings, like each one is 1,000. We have trainings with 200. We have trainings with, and we have other trainings as well. And all of that you have access to, plus also the third party, plus the mentorship, weekly mentorship, and direct mentorship. There's a Slack channel that I'm always there. I'm always active, and there's everybody as well. And I'm always helping you, mentoring you through the every single week. Like what did you study this week? What are you going to study next week? Um, what obstacles you have faced? What issues you have faced, and then helping you through the whole process. So that's basically it. All what you're gonna need to do is to go to maltrack.com/masters, and from there you can basically So basically from maltrack.com/masters, as you see in the chat, just either click on download syllabus to get the PDF file you have just seen, or click on apply now. And if you click on apply now, it will get you to this place where you can fill an application, write your information. If you are comfortable with the price, the $6,000 price, that can be on 9 months, or can be in 6 months, or can be direct. And from there, you can book a call with me, and we talk exactly about what you really need to learn, how this program will be personalized for you, and I'll give you a roadmap of what you need to do for your career. And from there, you can join the program if it fits you, if this roadmap fits you. If it's not, and if you don't want to go through this program, I'll give you all the guidance to how you can do it by yourself. And that's all of it. Any question, guys? Any question before we close? If there is no question, thank you guys for joining today. Um, it's really a pleasure to get all of your questions and um, all of your comments up here. Sebastian is saying, is it possible to pay for the course in parts? Like you only want to do a portion of the entire course, then you only want to pay for that which you had training for. Let's talk about that offline. We have all the live training separately. You can actually purchase each one separately, but the master's program with the mentorship is probably different. But let's talk more about it directly on LinkedIn. You can reach me out directly on LinkedIn. You're seeing me live there. Just reach out to me now, and we'll get to chat about it. Ashwin is all clear. Very good. And if there's no other question, Thank you guys for joining today. If you have any other question pops up, just reach out to me on LinkedIn, on email, or uh, yeah, LinkedIn or email are the best. Or you can go directly to maltrax.com, and there you can reach out, the contact us, and you can reach me out from there. Um, and if you want to apply to this program, go to maltrax.com/masters. As well, as you might know, we have upcoming live training coming on 13th of June. If you only want to do that training, just go to maltrax.com, and you will find it in the training section. There's a training called Hands-on Malware Analysis and Incident Response that will be on 13th to 16th of June, and you can directly reserve your seat from here. And basically you can join the training if you want to. And there is all information about this training down there. um, Here's day one, day two, day three, day four. This is exactly what you will be learning through the training. And so, and as well, if you have any question, you can get in touch as well. That's basically it. And one last thing, this is our new open source training. Don't forget to check it out. It's basically AWS. It's absolutely free and gives you all the needed infrastructure to practice purple teaming, to practice blue teaming, threat hunting, in-depth investigation, and memory forensics. So this lab we will be covering more in-depth in our in-depth threat hunting and purple teaming training. And as well, if you want to test that out, if you have already the skills and the capacity and want to test it out, don't forget to download it, use it. All the installation and all the needed things are here. If you have any questions, just reach out to me as well. And don't forget to start it, fork it if you like it, or watch for any updates. And that's all about it. If there is no question, thank you guys for joining today. I really hope you enjoyed this session. Hopefully, it was useful, and see you very soon. Bye bye.